What's going on, y'all? It's Taylor with y'all 106.7. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. John Berry. Welcome to y'all 106.7 again, because this is not your first time here.
Nope, second time.
Second time. You were our first studio interview, so thanks for coming back.
You bet. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, today's a big day. It's a big month. We're celebrating the 30th anniversary of your Love Amazes Me. How does that feel?
It's nuts.
Crazy.
It's supposed to be our 30th month, but not 30th year. That's crazy.
You blink and it just goes by, doesn't it?
TikTok, man.
So let's go back to the beginning. When you recorded this song, did you know it was going to have the life that it has had?
Well, we knew there was something special about the song. I was playing clubs in Athens, Georgia at the time. And Athens, Georgia is, I call it the town that was eaten by the university. I mean, it's a whole university now. And we were playing, it was my bass player Michael and I, and we were played clubs there for 8 years. And we had a massive following. And the goal was to have 300 or 400 college students roar every night. And we were very successful at it. But we found this song in 1992 and started working it up, playing it in the clubs where we're playing. So the place would be roaring. That was, like I said, standing in the chairs roaring. And then we play this song. It's like pin drop. 4.5 minutes of pin drop. And then we go back to roaring again. But we knew that there was something that was like, we just looked at each other like, and then these college kids start requesting that song. It's like crazy. So we knew we were onto something. Of course, the first time I heard it, and I called I just signed with Capitol, and we learned it and played it in the club. But I called my rep at Capitol who was working with me, and I said, it's Herky Williams. Herky, hi, if you're listening, Herky, hello. I called Herky and said, we'll take that one. And he calls me back. He said, daggone, Tanya Tucker's got it on hold for her upcoming album. I said, well, you keep a track. If she doesn't use it, I'm first in line. Don't forget. And she turned her record in a couple of weeks later, and it wasn't on there. So I feel fortunate I got to get to record Your Love Amazes Me. But of course, every time I see Tanya Tucker, she's like, "You owe me, John Berry. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget it." But she actually ended up she did record the song, but did not put it on her record. Mm-hmm. And then a few years later, she put out a greatest hits record and included her version on that record. And I'm telling you, the singer was not the seller of that song. Mm-hmm. The song just sold itself. Her hit would have been a version, her version would have been a hit as well. It's a great song. She did a great job. And I was just a lucky guy who drew the card. So.
What a story. Maybe y'all could do a duet together for the celebration.
We sang at a benefit in Murfreesboro. What was the name of that? I can't remember, but it's a thing they do almost every year down in Murfreesboro. And she was there, and she came up and sang it with me. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wonder what you'd sound like on Delta Dawn. Probably.
I ain't working.
Probably good. Yeah. We've got a lot of shows coming up. I mean, you're playing at the Opry, you're playing at 3rd and Lindsley, you're playing a show getting ready for CMA Fest.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your shows today. Do you still got that reaction from the crowd?
Well, for that song, yeah, that's that one is Standing on the Edge, Kiss Me in the Car. They still get that good reaction, and people they love getting to hear them, and so it's always fun.
Yeah. So your first show coming up is on the 18th, and you're bringing some friends out. You've got Mike Ferris, Buddy Joel, Elaine Roy, Bobby Marquez, Lee Polari. Am I saying that correctly?
Lee Polari.
Lee Polari, and Mackenzie Phipps for a night of music and fun. So is this something that you do every year? How did this come about?
We just it's just something we wanted to do. I live in Gallatin, and Triple Creek is a fabulous park. If you're going to Gallatin and take Broadway, like going towards Westmoreland, it's just on that side of Gallatin. And it's a huge, I do not know where they got, it's a massive park with ball fields, and Miracle Park is in there. It's a playground for all children, which is really amazing. They have a baseball field set up for all children. So if you come there and you have a child that's active and sports oriented or not, they can play. If you have a child in a wheelchair, put them in the game. It's set up for that. And so Miracle Park is a great place. And then they got this playground and all that stuff there. And we walk there. We go walk our dog there every single day. And we were out there walking around not too long ago. I said, we should just do something here in Gallatin for our neighbors. And so we put this thing together. And so Saturday evening, we're going to, we've got a few of our friends, Buddy Jules coming to be with us, and Mike Ferris, the ridiculous Mike Ferris. And when I grow up, I want to sing like Mike. He's so good. And Barbara Mark, you mentioned, who else did you mention?
We've got Lee, Mackenzie, Elaine, Bobby.
Elaine Roy is, she used to be with her brother. They had a group called the Roys. One of the coolest bluegrass groups you've ever heard in your life. And over the years, they've not singing as much together. And Lee decided to go do something different. And Elaine has continued on singing. She's got a brand new record coming out. So she's going to come do some songs off that record for us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Lee Polari, she is a friend from Portland, just north of Gallatin. And she sings like a ding-dang bird. She's awesome. And just happens to be my bus driver's wife. Got jobs for us on Christmas tour and stuff. And she is terrific. And so I'm looking forward to having her there.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing.
Mackenzie Phipps will be there with us as well. And she's a young artist up and coming and who's a really talented young lady.
Sounds like a great event. Free show, fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
So if you're in town this weekend, it's definitely something that you want to make sure that you make time for. And then
bring a blanket, bring a lawn chair, bring a picnic. And we're setting it up on the stage is set up in the parking lot. And right in front of the stage is a little slight hill that goes up under the oak trees. So people can sit on the hillside there and
perfect
and have a picnic and have a big time.
Great way to kick off summer. We finally got some good weather rolling through Nashville.
Saturday's supposed to be beautiful.
Yeah, great. And then you're stepping into the Opry Circle on May 24th. Woo-hoo. Do you remember the first time that you played the Opry?
Yeah, I played at the Ryman, and I was standing on the side of the stage with my wife. She sings with me, my wife Robin, and she squeezes my hand. She says, "Is this real?" And about that time, Porter Wagner goes, "Y'all, welcome to the stage for the first time at the Grand Ole Opry, John Barry." And I turned to her and said, "Baby, it just got real." So I walked out and sang that night. It was a lot of fun. And matter of fact, I don't know if they still do programs for the Opry. They still do programs. We have the program from that very first night and a picture of me standing in front of the WSM microphone. So I still have that picture on the wall, and it's a special night. And if your listeners, I can't imagine anybody in Nashville not knowing what the Circle is, but if you go to the Opry House now, and you go to stand center stage on the microphone, you're going to stand in the Circle, which is a circle of wood that's been cut out of the floor of the Ryman Auditorium stage. So you're standing where everybody has stood. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
All the greats.
And
you never forget a moment like that. And to share it with your wife, I mean, how special is that?
Every time is special. And every time we play there, it's kind of overwhelming that they invite me to come play as much as they do. I'm like, man, y'all are awfully nice. And but every time it's incredible, and it's always fun when we have new band members who've never played the Opry to share that with them and let them have that moment. So it's really cool. And the audience, we always ask how many folks are there for the first time, and it's always a good number. It's good to have them.
Very, very cool. And then you just keep on rolling. You have another show on June 5th at 3rd and Lindsay, and that one's for is it Country for a Cause? Yeah, that's awesome. So you're just on a roll. Tell us about that show.
Yeah, T.G. Shepherd and
Crystal Gale. I love Crystal Gale.
Yeah, Crystal Gale. And they've done this show.
10th anniversary.
I've played it, I guess, twice before, maybe, if I'm mistaken. But it's a great event. And 3rd and Lindsley, if your listeners who have not been there before, don't miss it. It's so fun. It's packed. It's not a big place, and they pack it out. And it's just fun from the word go, and almost as fun as it is backstage. So
I bet we've got some backstage stories, huh?
Well, We're too old for that.
We can't say them on the air.
We're
No.
too old for that mess.
Well, rolling into our family life, you're celebrating another anniversary with your wife. How long have y'all been married?
It'll be 36 years this year.
Congratulations.
I think that's right.
What is the secret?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, dear.
What she says goes, huh?
Yes, dear.
And you were telling us your grandpa
Yeah, 2 times.
and very, very close with your grandson. You said his first word was grandpa and big truck.
Papa.
Papa, that's what you called, yeah.
Yeah, Papa. He loves Papa, and Papa loves him. He's a good little fella. Isaac. He's 2 years old now. He's a treat and a lot of fun. But my son Kaylin and his wife Kayla live in Gallatin, and my daughter Taylor Marie and Lance, they live moving to Atlanta from Florida, and then my other son Sean and his wife Kayla live in East Texas, and they've got a little girl out there.
That's
So
what
both
it's
my
all
boys,
about.
they made it easy for old pops. Both of them married girls named Kayla, so that was good.
So you don't get confused, yeah.
Yeah.
So if your children, grandchildren, you think they'll take interest in music?
Well, my son Kalen is a drummer, and he plays with our band, and he also plays with other artists. And I'm hoping he'll get picked up. He's ridiculous. He's not a good drummer. He's a great. He's over the top, crazy good. And he's played with a number of folks around town, and I'm hoping he'll get a chance to go do the big show. I don't want him to just grow up and be Daddy's drummer. I don't want him to do that. I want him to have the chance to do the big show. And our son Sean is in East Texas with his family, and Sean has a band called Joint Custody, and started off with Sean was playing around out in East Texas by himself doing solo gigs, and he became friends with another guy, and he knew another guy, and they ended up getting together to write together. One of them had a brother who was a drummer or a cousin, and so they got together to play, and it was like, wow. So since they were all individual singers, they called it Joint Custody, which is kind of cool. And they're 2 electric guitars, bass, and drums, and they lay it down, man. They're great. They're a great band.
That's awesome. Something I thought was really cool that I wanted to touch on was your duet with Paty Klein, thanks to modern technology. How did that song come about?
It was Patsy's husband, who I think still lives here in the Nashville area, at least at that time, did back in the mid '90s, I guess it was. They had developed a technology back then that they could take a recording. When Patsy recorded her records, it was a microphone in the room, and that's it. If you couldn't hear the bass player, move closer to the microphone, And so they developed a technology that they could strip all the instruments and everything else away and just leave her voice, unlike today's technology where you just call up that track, which is isolated. So they stripped everything away, and then her husband wanted to. Patsy, his story was that Patsy always loved big band music. She always wanted to be a big band singer, but she was a country girl on a country label, and that just didn't happen then during those days. So they stripped everything off and left her voice, and they built tracks around her voice, a big band. And then they had guests come in, and I was one of the lucky ones who got to sing with her. And it was quite extraordinary. It was pretty crazy, actually. So, but I got to sing the song "There He Goes," and that was pretty. The band's big and loud, and I bet she'd have been proud to sing with them.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, and it's crazy how technology continues to evolve. Randy Travis' latest release was thanks to AI, so the world got to hear a voice that they hadn't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy the way that you can, even our radio station, we're not being disc jockeys and changing all the things. We do it all through a computer.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's just crazy how the world
Where's
works.
that cartridge?
Yeah, you can DJ for us. So what is next for you? You're doing all these shows. What does the rest of the year look like for you? Because on the holidays, you do an annual Christmas show. That's a pretty big deal.
For us, it is. It's 28th year this year. And we usually do around 20 cities, maybe a few less, a few more. And we kind of stay between the Mississippi River and the East Coast. And We'll go up as far as into Minnesota and places like that. And it's a lot of fun. And so we'll do that again this year. And it always changes a little bit, but it takes a lot of time to put it together. Not only the booking, but just the creating the show and trying to keep it fresh. And writing a few things here and there. See if I can't come up with another song or two. See if something's left in the tank. So.
Now, when you're writing, are you a lyric guy, a melody, kind of both?
I'm a chorus guy. I come up with choruses, and the details in the verses I need help with a lot. So, and but it's fun to write, and it's really fun to when it's over and you've got something in your hand. So sometimes I wake up and I see that there's a writing appointment. I say, Robin, check, see if I got a fever, so I don't have to go. But because it's so what's the word? It's very intimidating. Because usually I get together with really fine guys that spit out hits before breakfast, those kind of people, and I don't always have something. Eventually, something will come to the top because I want to contribute. I was actually on my way to write with Whispering Bill, which was real intimidating to write with Bill Anderson, and Bill's such a prolific writer. Been writing. He's had a top 10 record in every decade. It's crazy how many top 10s he's had, or number one records and things. And so I've always known Bill to speak to at the Opry because we're both from the Athens, Georgia area. And ends up as we got together to write, we found out that the street I lived on, in the house I lived in, it backed up to the street he lived on the other side. So we grew up a street apart, a few years apart, but it was kind of crazy. And then he ended up in Athens, Georgia, that area, and that's where I lived most of my life. And he actually recorded City Lights, his first number one record, at the University of Georgia radio station when they were after hours. They'd get in there with a friend of theirs and make recordings. And so we always had that at Athens always in common. So we got together to write on this particular day, and I was driving down there, and I had nothing. And about that time, this really big pickup truck comes rolling by me. One, you have to get a ladder to get in, And I said to myself, I'm riding my little Jeep, I had at the time. And I said, don't you be thinking I ain't country because I don't drive a big truck. And I was like, don't think I ain't country, man. I was trying to scribble stuff down all the way down there. Walked into the room with Bill, and Bill said, hey, how you doing? I said, don't talk to me. I said, these ideas. And we ended up writing a song together, Don't Think I Ain't Country. And it was a lot of fun. We got to sing it together on the Grand Ole Opry. That was fun.
Yeah, that's the life of a songwriter. You never know when that inspiration's going to strike.
No, a friend of mine, I had a conversation with him 30 years ago, and he said, I feel like my wife is standing on the edge looking for somewhere else to go, standing on the edge of the driveway. And of course, I walked away from that and ended up writing my first number one song I wrote, Standing on the Edge of Goodbye, I wrote with Stuart Harris. But I had the chorus for 2 years and a year and a half. And I was out on tour with Reba McEntire. And every day at soundcheck, we'd play the chorus 2 or 3 times through at soundcheck, just trying to get me to conjure up some verses. But I really couldn't. And got together with Stuart Harris, who wrote No One Else on Earth for Winona Judd. And great writer. And 2 hours later, we were done and had a big hit with it.
That's incredible. And you sat on that chorus for 2 years. Had you have written it 2 years prior with someone else, it may not have been the same song.
Yeah. Because I'm telling you, boy, we had that. We got on those verses, and Stuart, boy, they just spilled out of Stuart, and that was pretty incredible. I like moments like that.
Yeah. So you've done so much. What is there when you look back, something that you're most proud of?
Musical or personal?
Both. Could be anything.
Personal, my family. I love my family, and I'm just very blessed to have my crew. They're super. They're just super. And my sweet wife, Robin, who without Robin's encouragement and kicking the pants, I'd probably still be living in a 12 by 24 foot tool shed on 5 acres out in the country in Madison County, Georgia. And but she knew I really wanted to follow music in a big way, and she's the one who really encouraged me and helped get things down the road. And she still does. She does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for what we do. And,
so we are y'all 106.7. We play 80s, 90s, early 2000s country.
Come on.
And so I always like to say, when you look back, is there advice that you'd give your younger self, or is there advice that you would give someone moving to Nashville to pursue a career in music?
I think the advice I give my younger self was to be where the people who can help you. And in country music, that place is here. It's Nashville. I'm not saying you have to move here, but you have to have a regular presence here, and be here to do showcases, to do guitar pulls, to meet people, to get songwriting appointments, all those things. And so my much younger self, I would have given that same advice to. My a little older but younger self, I would have said, don't sell the farm. Just go to Nashville, get a condo, make a presence, and do that same thing. But don't sell your farm. I sold the farm. And every day I pick up that jar of dirt on my desk and go, man, I miss that place. But that was a special place. But having been here, I actually moved here much later. I've only been here 10 years, so. But if I had moved right before my career kicked off and all that, might be a little bit different. But I didn't move here until I was actually finished. When I left Capitol Records, I already done 3-4 albums, and things were changing a little bit, and so maybe I made the move too late, but not so late that I missed everything. But It was that particular move ended up not being the best thing, and so we actually went back towards Athens and lived there for a long time, and then things changed again, and had the opportunity to move up here again, and we took it, and we've enjoyed being here because Brian will attest. I've had calls at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Friday or Saturday and said, "Is John able to play the Opry tonight?" And yes, I can. Thank you very much. And or can John drop by and do a radio interview this afternoon? We had a guest fall out. Yes, I can. So that's been great. So there's been great aspects of it being here, and there are great people here. There are great people in the music business that can help you, and that want to help you, and there are sharks here that don't want to help you. And so you have to have people around. Surround yourself with people you can trust, that have your best interest. And to those artists who are rocking up the charts and raking in the do-re-mi, it's going to end. It's going to end. Plan for the end. Don't let anybody tell you it's going to last forever. Sooner or later, you're going to make $1, and it's going to be the last one you make. Treat everyone as such.
I think that's great life advice. Well, John, thank you so much for sharing that. There might even be a song somewhere in there. Don't sell the farm. I heard a song title in that. So yeah, we need to write that down.